In this series, we will look at how to get a career in photography. There are many entry-level and intermediate roles in industry, such as photography assistant, photographer, and photo editor. You can work for a company or work freelance in a team or on your own. Photographer's assistant. To be a photographer's assistant means you will be helping the photographer in lots of ways. This could be helping set up the equipment, such as the tripod, wires, and sets, or getting food and drinks for the models and crew. It may simply be holding the bags or umbrellas, or you could be doing more complicated jobs, such as sorting the lighting out and helping with lighting effects, like gobos or filters. In fact, just doing what the photographer asks to make a shoot run smoothly is pretty much the job. According to Glassdoor, they say an assistant can make up to £38,000 a year. Indeed says on average they make £20,764 a year across the UK. And Talent.com says around £21,930. So the average in a year is £27,142 in the UK. The job will normally be a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 in a studio. However, talking with clients may require you to go out places. So you may need to go out for work hours to check locations or sets, to go get some photos and make sure it's usable for shoot and safe. Some skills that are useful for being an assistant are obedience. Some photographers just want you to do as you're told and nothing else. Creative view. The photographer may ask for some input. Knowledge of some apps such as Trello, Teams, Excel, Photoshop, and others that may be used. Communication skills. You'll need to know how to talk to the model, the photographer, or customers. Teamwork and the capability to work solo. Being good under pressure. Have knowledge of photography types such as wedding photos, fashion, advertisement, baby shoots, school photos, nature, pets, cosplay. Also have the knowledge of how the technology that you are using works, such as the lighting. Editing. For this job, you'll be editing the photos some people have sent in or ones you or your photographer have taken. In editing, you'll mainly be using Photoshop and similar websites to make the photos look better or change and move stuff to make the photos look their best. The salary for this particular section depends. According to Reed, it was around average to £36,615 a year. Indeed, it was around £32,286, and according to Talent, it's £31,813, averaging it to around £33,571 for the yearly salary. In editing, you'll be constantly editing photos for a deadline. You'll be working on more than one at a time too. The work days are normally anywhere from around 9 AM to 5 PM Monday to Friday, depending on the job, or maybe out of hours so you can finish work. Some skills good to have for this job are knowledge of apps like Photoshop and similar editing software. That is the job. Good social skills to talk to customers or co-workers, determination and persistence to keep going with the work and keep going if all fails, good under pressure when deadlines and sudden changes of plan happen or having a lot of work at once, have the capability to work solo and with a team and a very creative thought process. Photographer. As a photographer, you'll be the one behind the camera taking the photos, making sure you take the perfect photo for the customers. They have to make sure everything looks good on camera, such as the effects, the lighting, and the colours. According to Glassdoor, they say a photographer makes around £39,000 a year. Indeed says on average they make £25,663 a year across the UK. And Talent.com says around £28,000 a year. So on average it's about £30,887 a year in the UK. The hours and days are Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. Out of work hours may be necessary to talk to clients, to make sure work goes well, or to check location or studio is ready and safe for a shoot. You will need to know about the different types of photography, such as fashion, advertising, fine art, social media photos, wedding photography, baby shoots, nature, and animal shoots. Skills that may or may not be required for the job. Leadership, to take control of the situation. However, if something goes wrong, you might have to be the one who sorts it out. Being able to talk to clients and models of any age in an appropriate manner. You wouldn't talk to a bride the same way you may talk to a child. Have great time management. You need to know how to make sure you get all the photos you need for a session. Send them off to whoever is editing, maybe you. Make sure the edits are done on time, and give them back to the client within a reasonable time, while probably repeating this cycle. Creativity if a photo doesn't go to plan. Must be good under pressure. We can't have you have a hissy fit when it doesn't go well. Self-employed. For this job, you go out seeking jobs for money. This means you can be flexible. You have two options for being self-employed. Go out looking to do a job and get paid for the job, or make your own business and do all the parts of it yourself, or have others help you and split the pay. The pay will vary. If you have your own business, you make your own prices on each deal. If you go out and work for others, they will give you their own price. However, it's estimated to be around £31,835 a year. For this job, you will need a lot of independence and self-encouragement. The past and future of history. Here is a brief history of photography. So the first camera was made back in 1816 by a man named Joseph Nicephore Niepce. The obscura was made by making an upside-down reflection through a tiny pinhole for hours. The photo was taken in 1826 by Joseph Nicephore Niepce in black and white of view from the window at La Glace. In 1833, Nicephore understudy Louis Daguerreau made what is now called a daguerreotype for the public. The photo took a few minutes to form, so the model would have to sit really still. In 1900, Kodak made the Kodak Brownie, similar to the Obscura. It used a lens for a shorter exposure and light-sensitive film. The first colour photograph made by the three-colour method suggested by James Clerk Maxwell in 1855, taken in 1861 by Thomas Sutton. The picture was of a ribbon. First mobile camera to be in a phone was the JSH-04, a Sharp J phone model sold in Japan in November 2000. One of the earliest apps/websites for sharing digital photos was oPhoto, starting up in 1999. Two of the most popular apps to share photos as of 2023 is Facebook and Instagram. However, Snapchat and Twitter are still apps people use. How could this affect photos for the future? Pros and cons. We could have better equipment and apps to quickly and effectively edit photos. However, AI images have stolen other photographers and digital artists' work by taking rough shapes and making an image. Quality will get better. 1080p is the best quality we have so far. However, photos will get better and better the more we use it. So even if it's the worst image possible from our eyes, the camera will make it automatically better. We already have drones that have photos and cameras in them. However, we could get something smaller and handheld. Unrealistically, we could have flying cars and portable photo drones. We will just end up paying the technology to do our jobs. We could get moving images like in Harry Potter, or a gift that repeats a special moment like a wedding or first steps, or a relative who is gone. Higher education. So you want to do photography higher education, but you don't know what steps to take. Well, I'm here to explain you have three main options which could benefit you. Going to university, getting into an apprenticeship, or a degree apprenticeship. So you plan on going to uni, but what will you need to get in? Normally you need grades to say you've passed, for example, GCSEs or college degree. You will also need a CV, portfolio, and sometimes a cover letter. The most important thing to consider is how long you'll be studying for. Well, you'll be studying for 1 to 3 years, more or less. How are university courses taught? Well, there's many ways they could be taught, such as lectures, tutorials, practice works, tests, and more. Maybe even doing some actual work on site helping photographers. What could you also study alongside photography? Another good one to know is fashion and modelling. Apprenticeships. So you want to go straight onto an apprenticeship after college or after university, which is the better option. So what will you do? So as an apprentice, you'll get paid to study whilst you are also learning to do the job. You'll be working 3 to 5 days whilst also studying. There are 7 apprenticeship levels. You'll be working from anywhere from 3 to 7, depending on what job you do. Pay range for each level is £4.30 an hour to £12.29 an hour. Level 3's pay range is around £5.95 to £12.29. Higher levels of apprenticeship have a higher pay, which could be between £8.72 to £15.24. What is the minimum and maximum hour you have to work? The minimum is 30 hours and the maximum is 40 hours. What does a photography assistant get involved with? They have to help set up and pick up the right equipment, among other things, and be very obedient. Just basically being an assistant normally. What else could you study whilst being an apprentice? Media, photography, and Photoshop are all great skills to learn whilst you are doing an apprenticeship. Pros and cons. You'll be getting paid while doing the job. It looks good in a CV. It helps you to gain work experience, skills for work, and you finish without debt. Hopefully. You still have to study, you get paid small amounts, the required amount of hours is 30 to 40 hours, which is quite a long time. You won't get the full university experience, and holidays are much shorter. Degree apprenticeships. A degree apprenticeship allows you to have a full undergraduate or master's degree whilst working alongside school. Apprenticeships last roughly around 6 years depending on what level, 1 to 4, 1 to 7 plus. Most of the time you'll be forced to work 80% while studying 20%, giving little to no room to do what you want to do in your free time. Apprenticeships work differently across the UK. What are the pros and cons of doing a degree apprenticeship? You get paid and you get a degree. The cons are prioritising work over studying. You'll have loads of schoolwork, limits to your career, and you won't have a full experience in university, which is worth trying at least once. So this was me explaining how to get a job in the photography industry. If you have any further questions about the video, please contact us at photogenic@gmail.com. To visit our website, www.photogenic.com.uk. We are always looking to answer any questions you may have or want to know about photography and how to get a job in the photography industry. I am your guide, Charlotte Johnson, and thanks for watching.